Ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Hey everybody! So we got a special guest here. Some of you guys know it's Wesley. First and foremost, say he's been here since the OG of Beartha, the dinosaur stage. Now let me stop. And we're gonna also show the other hoodie. But I'm super excited because some of you guys may know, but we were originally named Stay Pawsome, and then when we transitioned, we became Beartha, which is named after my abuela. And he actually designed our first logo, which is this. And you could get it in a hoodie, you guys. But this was our first logo. This is the logo. As you can see, it comes in different, get a hoodie. Support the cause, but be a better you. Do the best that you can and be the change. So I would like for him to get into what he does and what's his passion, and then also be a better you. I feel like you can see it better on the black, but be a better you, which has Beartha in it too. Be the best that you can be the change that you want to believe in. So what got you into design?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Greensboro, North Carolina. When I was really little, I was probably about 10, maybe 11 years old. My dad used to take me, my brother, and some of my friends, even family members, to what was called the Little Ford basketball tournament here in Greensboro, North Carolina. So there, a lot of high school basketball teams, like a lot of the best local high school basketball teams, would play in a basketball tournament for like a Christmas invitational. There was this one team, Dudley High School, and they used to always come every year. Man, they would have like the flyest uniform. I don't know if I may have told you this story before, but they would have the flyest uniforms. I mean, all of them could dunk, all that stuff. They had like college players and all that stuff. They would always come out in like Space Jam Jordans or like the top Jordan at that time and all those type of things. So I was always just like mesmerized by this team. And at the time, I drew a little bit at the time, but once I saw that, I would try to like draw like my own sneakers, basketball uniforms, all that stuff. So that got me drawing a little more, thinking a little bit more as far as the design, business-wise type of thing. Then I got into, I like to design shoes, like to design uniforms. Eventually it just became this thing where I was like, I want to just be able to draw anything and figure out how to draw for I guess draw for money. Just like, kind of start designing things. So from there, I kept drawing and everything. Then I got in high school, got a hold of a magazine called Soul Collector, which talks about how people design, Air Jordan sneakers or the sneakers and all that stuff, how people collect Air Jordans. That's when I really became a huge sneakerhead, and that's when a lot of things took off for me. And from there on, I knew I wanted to design sneakers, and that led me into design as one discipline. But then it just evolved into this whole thing where I was like, I will design logos.
Right.
I'll design business cards. I'll design whatever really. It could be houses one day. We'll see. So not to
Here first.
No pun intended, but just kind of building all of that stuff into something where I just like being creative, and that's kind of how the whole journey started, and it's where I'm at now. So,
I love that.
Yeah.
So when you was creating this logo, like what did you have in mind?
Yeah, so I remember, me and Jolanda were talking about this logo a little bit when she started getting Beartha started and everything. And at first she was telling me that her grandmother, her abuela, as she used to always tell me, her favorite bird was a quetzal, or it symbolized her grandmother a lot. So
A quetzal.
Yeah, a quetzal. Yeah, sorry, I might have pronounced it a little wrong. Yeah. So we started out with that idea, played around with that a little bit. We actually used the same colors that we used on this. And then we kind of wanted to revamp that a little bit. And she was like, let's make it more simplified, make it a little bit more about the unity of the world and, the community, things like that. So that's when I just came up with the idea. We may have discussed this as I was going over the process, but I was like, let's just make it like a globe, something simple to the point. We put the name in there, and that's how I landed on the concept of just like, just this earth, and let's just take care of the earth, and that's just the whole collective effort that we're going to make, and that's what Beartha represents. So that's how we came up with that logo.
That's right. Yeah, and now that you say that, hopefully I can pull it up in the email and I can show it when we're put this out. But
for sure,
when he was drawing it, he drew a quetzal. And it made me think, and then when he brought up the earth thing, I was like, I wonder how it would look if it was half of the earth and then a cancel on top. But when he showed me this, I was like, this is it. Because it's so simple. I feel like, you know, for people that know me or have volunteered, it's like love is the answer, you know. So being able to help all that are on earth, including people and animals. So when he did this, I was like, oh my God, I loved it. And what is information like if people want to contact you and you know, if they're interested in graphic design work?
All right, so you can look me up on Instagram, which is west.coast with an underscore. And also my design page, if you want to get more into the art and design field and all that stuff, will be underscore prime.99. And you know, I won't really get into how I came up with that name right now, but that's just kind of
you don't got 99 problem, John.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's just kind of my whole design language for my page and everything. Maybe a brand name one day. I don't know. We'll see.
That's right.
Yeah, those are my two handles. Yeah.
And then, how would you say with sneakers, with basketball? So people don't know he plays basketball, you guys, and could never win horse. But
she gets close sometimes. She gets close.
How do you intertwine that all, like with music, basketball, design, and just your everyday? Like, how does music play a part in all of that?
Yeah, so I always like to think about like underground hip hop. That's usually like my main, you know, just a lot of my language with a lot of different things. I mean, yeah, I'm into like, I listen to like, you know, my favorite artists are like Kendrick, Cole, Drake, you know, all those type of guys. But a lot of times when I think of like my style, like my sense, and like what truly is dear to me as far as my, you know, the epitome of what I create. So I'll tell a quick story real quick that goes back to like how I discovered a lot of my favorite producers and everything. I used to always listen to music, a lot of underground stuff, like Currency, even like Nas from back in the day, Jay-Z and stuff. And a lot of times I'd hear a lot of these same beats and I'd be like, man, like that sounds good, that sounds good. I'm like, wonder who made that beat, wonder who made this beat. And I would do a lot of research and I'd find out, okay, that's DJ Premier. Okay, again, that was DJ Premier. Okay, that's DJ Premier. Oh, that's Madlib. Oh, that's Alchemist, you know, stuff like that. And that's when I was like, man, I really like, this is like really what I'm drawn to. And I was just like, I really think that lifestyle is kind of what I represent, you know, just kind of like, you know, a little more low key, but still like making the fire. So, you know, I just kind of translated that to my design style. And I was kind of like, you know, I think that's how I want to design. I think that's my art sense. So that kind of translates to my lifestyle and all that stuff. You know, not always flashy and all that stuff, but just, you know, I still get it done. And just, you know, a little bit more discipline. I don't know, a little bit more just like grounded with everything, I would say. So, yeah, that's kind of how I say it translates to my life.
Yeah, we definitely both grew up with hip hop.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I feel like that because even though you grew up in North Carolina, and it's funny because when we was talking about this months ago, we was like, when NYC meets NC, literally. I was born and raised in New York City. I don't know if some people may hear this be like, really? And Wes was born and raised in NC. And I remember when we started hanging out, the music, so I was like, you sure you're from North Carolina? you from New York. But yeah, he had a lot of similar taste in music. So I think that's like what got us like, that was like one of the similarities that
it's always like a good connection. Like I always like a really
like, you heard that song?
Yeah.
You heard that song?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I feel like growing up, music had to be playing to get stuff done.
Right.
You know, for the most part, like you needed good music because it puts you in a good spirit, and it allows you to continue to move forward in your project or task that you have in hand. So I definitely can see that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you're drawing and creating too.
Yeah.
You know, I know when we do paintings, like, you know, listen, I ain't here doing logos, but when we used to do like paintings, we will always have music. And say, okay, come on, you gotta focus, and you know, or sometimes silence too. But I would definitely say music has definitely been a big part of my life.
Yeah, and I rarely ever design or sketch or anything, draw without music. Like I don't know if I ever do that these days. And so to kind of piggyback on what she said, So I had family like up in Philly and some family in New York and everything. And I went to New York a lot when I was little and all that stuff. My parents would take us up there. And I don't know, we were just always kind of in love with like the culture up there and everything. So like a lot of like New York artists, like even like back in the day, you had Lord Tariq and Peter Guns, you know, all that stuff. And yeah, like that always felt like home to me because you know it's like we had family there, and so I just always listened to all that stuff growing up. So nowadays it's like Styles P, Kiss, you know, Davies, you know, Nas J, like all of them. It's just like it's like they're like my music family or something. Like I listen to them naturally, you know. So yeah.
When listening to hip hop, like, what do you feel?
Oh man, that's a great question. It's like you get different. It's like you get a different sense. You get a different feeling with all types of different hip hop. You know, when I listen to those guys, I always get this feel of like I'm like walking through the streets, like I'm in like New York, like I'm in New York, like I'm in Brooklyn, and I'm just like, you know, I'm going to the corner store to get a snack or something like that. I don't know, like I've never lived in New York, but I always feel like that when I listen to that stuff around here. But at the same time, you know, home is home, and you know, being from North Carolina, you know, I am from the South. You know, I do a lot of J. Cole, but like a lot of Lil Baby, you know. I don't know, even these days, Young Thug, you know, Outkast, you know, was a big T.I. fan when I was in high school. So it's like, you know, I mean, I go to HBCU now, North Carolina A&T, if you're familiar with it, Aggie Pride. You know, so like I still get that homegrown feel too. So when I listen to the New York stuff, I feel that one part of me. But like when I listen to the down south stuff, it's like it's kind of just like we're you know, like we're especially like Lil Baby now. It's like we're representing the South, like you know, Atlanta, like the dirty South. You know what I'm saying? Like Atlanta is coming out, like North Carolina, like you know, a little bit of that stuff. So you know, you representing like. I remember even when Gucci and Juice Man were coming out, you know, you had like a lot of the trap stuff. Like, you still got a sense of that too, you know. Like, I feel like when I feel that, you just feel like a lot more of like the hustle down south. You know what I'm saying? So that's a bit more what I feel with hip hop in that sense. But and then you got like Tupac, Kendrick, Game, and all them out west. Listen to all them. So. Feels like whatever you listen to, you get more
Don't
of a
forget
feel.
your currency.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So,
Don't forget your currency.
So I listen to a lot of different stuff. I mean, you even got like, I listen to a little bit of rock, you know, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Kings of Leon. But yeah, Currency is like, that's another underground feel that I get. You know, he does a lot of stuff with Alchemist. So like, he's more of like my art sense. You know, he's a great artist. He provides a lot of visions, even just with his lyrics. So yeah, that too. I mean, yeah, definitely Currency. I'm glad you brought that up because that's like top 3, one of my favorite rappers right there. So yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. So, with pertaining to hip hop music, because you get a lot of people that say, "Oh, what they rap about is not always the most positive," right?
Yeah.
So, what would you say to the young people watching that might be listening to that and to not think that has to be their reality?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say like, you know, all the young people out there, when you listen to a lot of this hip hop, especially a lot of stuff that's coming out nowadays, just be mindful that a lot of these, you know, I can't really name any artists off top that I'll pinpoint, but some of the stuff these days can be maybe a little senseless, or you know, some of the directives or the objectives of the music aren't just what they used to be. So just make sure you listen to a lot of good stuff, and like, you know, in a way I want to say don't take it too seriously. It's funny because music can influence a lot of our lifestyles, and whether you know it or not, it's kind of turning on your conscience and everything like that. And it's influencing a lot of decisions that you make and things like that. So just be you know, I would say be careful, but I would really more so just say be mindful of what you listen to. Take responsibility for what you're listening to. And at the end of the day, you know, you have to live your own life, make your own decisions and all those things. So regardless of who you listen to, if you feel like what you listen to might be a little dangerous, or might be...
Don't stay dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's fun to listen to that stuff. Don't get me wrong. Like, I listen to some of that stuff, but you just got to take into accountability the actions that you play out in your daily life, and the decisions that you make from there on. And you just have to, you know, not let it take too much control of you, you know, because sometimes it can go a little far, and you might, it might do some things like that. So you just want to make good decisions, even with the music that you listen to, So I'll just put it like that. Yeah.
And it's okay to tell your friends no, and to be yourself. Don't do drugs.
Yeah.
No, but in all seriousness, like I feel like when you're growing up and you're listening to certain music, it kind of influences you, maybe what to wear, what type of people you accept, what type of people you don't accept, who you surround you. Yeah, it's the same thing as accept, but what activities you engage in, how you approach people, how you approach women or men, if you on the women aspect. Remember who you are and ask yourself, you're never too young to ask yourself, like, who am I and what do I believe in? Because just because somebody's rapping about it don't mean that you got to go be about that. So I absolutely, to piggyback off of that, I absolutely agree. And that's why I wanted to ask that question, because that's important, because we have a lot of young kids that are super influenced with hip-hop music, and they think that the only way to make it is trapping, basketball, scamming, or rapping. And there's so much more out here than that. And it could be tough. This is a perfect example. I have a nonprofit, he's in school. You heard that shout out that he did earlier. But he's also doing graphic design, and it's not following your dreams. It's awesome. You're excited, but there are days where you're like, oh my goodness. It could be overwhelming. It could be draining. But make sure that what you're choosing is something that you can stand firm in, So I definitely want to say that. Definitely. You hear his backstory of how he was like, Joy, I think this might be for me. It doesn't hurt to try different things. It doesn't hurt to let go of certain things. It's no wrong answer to your life, but be true to yourself. Be true to yourself. So.
For sure. And on top of that, I would just say, a lot of people say just find a skill and, stick to that, or find a skill and just kind of work on that, along with living, your daily life and all those things. And on top of that, just as far as, some people call it a skill, I would just say find what you love and, make that, show the world why that's important. And if you do that, I feel like, every day will just be a lot easier for you, and that's kind of the answer. That's kind of one of the answers, or one of the keys to life, really, is what I've kind of always went by. So.
And people may not agree or support, or who you want to support, or you don't live your life looking for external validation, because you might find yourself waiting forever when you have to support yourself. So I had to learn that. Like, I had to learn that myself. I was waiting, like, you gonna give me this, and it may not happen, and that's life. You have to give yourself what you need, and don't wait for others to do that.
I'll say this, since we're on the design conversation right now. I do have a couple projects that I'm working on with some people. They may be coming out soon. Like I said, if you want, you can follow my design page, and they may show up on there. So yeah, might have some stuff coming out sooner or later, and you can definitely look out for it. I think it might excite a lot of people, so we'll see. But yeah, I'll just shout that out. And yeah, shout out to Beartha.
Get a hoodie.
Yeah, get a hoodie. Yeah, we got all. Well,
we have these.
Yeah,
we have
all
these.
kinds of colors.
We have the regular Beartha hoodie.
Yeah.
We have t-shirts. We have fitteds. We have dad hats. We got flavors.
And Beartha is always doing amazing things, so definitely, follow them and, get on that train too, if that's definitely something you want to look into. So, yeah.
Last question. How do you maintain all the things you do and maintain a positive mindset?
That's a good question. I just feel like, when I was younger, I was just raised to just keep working hard, no matter what you do, just do your best to stay focused. On top of that, something I just thought about in talking about this is, I actually have a mental health background. And I won't go into too many details, but there was a time in my life from about 2011 to about 2014, 2015, where I went through a lot of difficulty, but I made it out of that. And on top, so when I came out of that, I just found that there were a lot of things in me that helped me persevere, helped me push through a lot of things, a lot of mental turmoil. So when that happened, when I came outside on the other side of that, I just realized that, I don't know, I kind of felt like I could just do just about anything. Not to make light of it, but I really feel like I could just do about anything. And if I put my mind to it, I could do it. So now when I'm doing things, I always look back at that and I'm just like, well, you made it through this. You can make it through just about anything. And I don't know, it was like a basketball mindset, whereas one time when I was playing basketball, it was like my sophomore year in high school, I developed like this real, disciplined work ethic. And so just out of those life experiences, I built like all of this stuff that just had me always like, just keep pushing no matter what, and you'll get through just about anything, just keep your mind focused. So a lot of things that just jog my mental to keep me doing that. So I would say with that, to anybody out there, I would just say, whenever you're going through tough times, or whenever you're going through something that's just something you feel like you might be struggling with, one thing is reach out to, friends, family, whoever you have. They may be able to help you through that things. In my case, I had people that helped me through those things. But aside from that, if it's just within you, always just look back at the times when you had something difficult going on, but you made it through and you're still here. And just find ways to find that drive again and build on top of that. And I guarantee you'll probably make it through just about anything. So I'll say that.
That was right. That was a great answer.
Yeah.
And what would you say is like some of the things you do to like kind of unwind outside of art?
It's funny because I was just about to say art. I was just about to say I definitely like to draw and sketch just to like get my mind loose a little bit. Other than that, definitely, like I said, again, music, it's not always, it's not always hip hop. So, if it's hip hop and I'm trying to unwind, it's usually real chill hip hop, mellow stuff. If you know the band, the Gorillas, they make a lot of like chill, like, meditative stuff. So I listen to something like that. So maybe music, also just, I love basketball, always just when it's basketball season, just turn on the game, working out, lift weights, go to a jog, shoot 100 shots, just get your body moving that way.
You sure know for 100 shots.
Yeah. Like every now and then I just go, take some shots playing basketball, and that kind of helps me unwind. If it's not something too high intense like some of that stuff, I don't know. Sometimes I meditate. I'll say that. Yeah, I will. I do just take a lot of time to just sit and take a lot of deep breaths and just, feel what's around me. Feel what's inside me. Sit with everything,
right.
And just kind of chill out. So I just keep it real simple or something like that. Usually lets me like calm everything. Yeah. So.
Absolutely. And as we're talking about meditating, and then we're talking about quiet time, I don't know about you, but sometimes I can meditate. I have so many things in my mind, and then I'll be thinking of so many things. But sometimes, I might write some stuff down that can lead into spoken word or poetry or stuff like that. So we're going to actually have a little fun. And we got some beats, New York City and NC. Yeah. And we're going to freestyle for y'all, which you had to be there if you wasn't there. But Tennessee, we did a health and wellness trip in Tennessee. And he was freestyling for like 30 minutes. Like,
I don't know if it was that long.
Nah, he was free.
30 minutes.
He was like, nah. He picked another beat. He was like, nah. So I think that this would be cool. Because, this is, I feel like sometimes for me, if I put like a lo-fi beat on and it's no words, I feel like sometimes I could gain more better like clarity on a situation. So this is just us having fun. But we're going to see what comes off the dome. It's a challenge. Nobody wrote anything. So, let's see how this works out.